during my selection process for the PhD, I was given a paper and I was asked to give my feedback on the paper, how to improve that paper. Yeah. Learn as much as you can, experience the Erasmus Mundus experience, the journey. Yeah. You will be moving from one country to another, making new friends, trying out new cuisines, and then just enjoy.
Welcome to the third episode of Genie Talks. Thank you all for showing up tonight, or today. I'd like to welcome my guest today, Rajon. Rajon is a doctoral researcher. He's based in Luxembourg at the moment. He did do the ME3 Erasmus Mundus program for his master's. And now he's on to bigger and better things in the world of academia. So thank you, Rajon, for coming on with me today. So we're going to get right into it. We have a lot of interest in this topic. We have over 150 people signed up today just to hear you talk about all the funding opportunities and, in general, the potential that's out there for people interested in studying a PhD after their Erasmus Mundus in Europe. So, Rajon, with that said, let's kick it off. And please tell us a bit about your background, where you grew up, your education, things like that.
Anna, thank you for having me. It's nice to be on the Genie Talks. It's a nice initiative by you guys. So, a short introduction about me to all the participants. I was born and brought up in Bangladesh in a small city called Mymensingh, which is north of the capital, Dhaka. Dhaka is in the center. I'm slightly north. My education till 12, high school, was in my hometown, and then I moved to another city which shares a border with India and is situated on the banks of a big river. So I did my bachelor in mechanical engineering from that university. Yep. So 2 small cities. So that's me. You can call me a guy from a small city in a small country. Yeah.
Great. And I know that when you were doing an internship, right? That's how you first kind of got out of those small cities and into Europe. Is that correct?
Yep. That was a fascinating experience for me. So in my final year of my bachelor studies, which was in 2015, I applied for this internship in Germany. I applied and I kind of forgot because I think I'm not going to get it. But so I gave my final exams for my bachelor, I think in October or November of 2015. Then once I finished and I got my degree and everything, I came home, and then I was flying out of Asia, South Asia. Mm-hmm. So in 2016, I did this 5 months internship in Germany. So first time in Europe, first time in Germany. It was related to automobile engineering in a university lab in eastern side of Germany. It's a small city also. Again, small city.
The theme.
I'm always in small cities. So the city is called Zwickau. It's not very far from Dresden. Dresden is a much more popular city. Yeah. So yeah, did a 5 months internship in 2016. The last 6 months of the 5 months of the last 6 months. Yeah. So during that time, I had this motivation that Europe is nice, because during my internship I did travel a lot in the surrounding countries. So I felt like, wow, this is a cool place. This is a place I have to come again. So I had my motivation then when I was doing my internship. So
nice. So it sounds like it was all very organic. It was a good period of exploration, and you got to a point where you were like, okay, I could do this for a little bit. So that kind of leads us into the next section of how you learned of Erasmus Mundus then, because makes sense, or maybe you would learn about Erasmus Mundus in Europe. How did this work out?
That is absolutely. The question is, how did I get to know about Erasmus Mundus scholarship, to be exactly EMJMD? During my internship in 2016, so one of my university faculty from another Department of Civil Engineering, a faculty from there actually started his Erasmus Mundus joint master degree with the scholarship in September of 2016. And I'd seen him posting pictures on social media. I said, wow, he's here. I called him like, hey, what's up? How are you here? Then he told me, I'm here on this wonderful program. I'm going to study in multiple countries. I said, what do you mean by multiple countries? I said, yeah, my first semester is Belgium. Second, I forgot what his mobility exactly was, but he was like me, like, I'm here, then I'm going to move to this country, then third semester, this country, this country. And I was like, okay, what is this? Tell me more.
And is it real?
Is it real, or what is this? What is going on? You can't possibly be studying in 3-4 European countries, in 3-4 universities. Like, how does this happen? Like, what is this?
Right.
So that was the first time I heard about this wonderful scholarship provided by the European Commission to do your masters in multiple countries. So I heard about it. I was like, okay, when I go home, I am going to look into it. So it was the faculty that told me everything. Okay, everything is online. Everything is in this Erasmus platform. All the courses are here. You select 3, you apply online, you scan your documents and upload. There is no application fee. Everything is super easy and very student friendly. So it's like, okay, need to apply here for sure. So when I went back, I applied to 3 programs, and I at least got one. So that's how I started my journey. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. And it all worked out. So thankfully you did apply and it did work out, and now we're here. But I'd like to know, so you were in the ME3 Management Engineering of Environment and Energy program, right? What was your mobility for that program?
So my mobility started in Madrid, in Spain. That was my first semester. So we had a class of 24 people from how many nationalities? I forgot. It was most probably, that's a lot of 16 nationality, if I'm not wrong. 16 nationality, 24 of us. We started this particular program in Madrid, in Spain. Then together we moved to France for our second semester, which was in a city called Nantes. That would be a French pronunciation.
Yes.
But the way you write in English, or maybe German, you will call it Nantes. Mm-hmm. But in French, it's in Nantes. So,
I see you took some French courses over there. Okay.
That's my A1 level of French coming out now, a little bit. So we moved to France, and we did 2 semesters together. Then we had a chance of doing a specialization. So some of us, if I'm not wrong, 12 of us to be exact, went to KTH in Stockholm, Sweden. Me and 2 of my classmates, we went to Budapest in Hungary to do another specialization on thermal engineering. And I think so that makes us 12 plus 3, 15, and the rest of 5, 9. The rest 9, they stayed back in Nantes and then continued a different specialization. So that was the 3 semesters: Spain, France, and Hungary for me. But for some other people, also Sweden.
And each university focused on different methods of sustainably managing the environment and energy?
Different aspect of the energy engineering. For me, it was thermal engineering and energy modeling. For people who went to KTH in Stockholm, for them, it was focused on sustainable energy. And people who stayed back, it was more related to energy efficiency and integration of renewables.
Wow, excellent. And how many total universities were in the consortium?
In the consortium, we had 4.
4.
So I studied in 3. The one that I did not study was KTH in Sweden. But we had 4. And at that edition, we had 4, yeah.
Great. Well, I mean, it sounds like it was a very nuanced program, a nice complex mix. It sounds like it was a very, very good experience. And I'm sure it helped you in moving on to your next step, which was looking at academia as a career choice. So just to start off, what motivated you to pursue academia as a career choice?
So I would step back a little bit. What motivated me, it's for all the participants, it's necessary to know the background for my motivation so they'll get a very good picture. So it started with my 4th semester, which was my thesis semester. I had to write a thesis and also do an internship. At that point of time in late 2018, during my 3rd semester, I actually wanted to go in industry. That's why instead of doing my internship in the university, in the lab, under the supervision of a professor, I was actively looking for opportunities in the industry, in various companies, in consultancy companies. So I did found one research assistantship opportunity in Berlin, in an energy consultancy in Berlin. So I went there. I was working as a research assistant in various energy consultancy projects, and also simultaneously writing my thesis. So at that point of time, I was not sure if I'd go in academia or do a PhD. But just before I graduated, I submitted my thesis. I was looking for opportunities, again, not in academia, but in industry, in different international organizations and etc. So I did get a wonderful opportunity. Before the graduation, I got opportunity in International Renewable Energy Agency. It's like a international intergovernmental organization that is promoting renewable energy and helping governments with policies and a lot of analysis.
Based in Berlin?
So it was based in Bonn, the previous capital of Germany.
Right.
In Bonn, small city, nothing to do actually there. So but it has a lot of international organization. It has the office of UN, they have Deutsche Welle, they have DHL, they have all sorts of international organization based in Bonn. So I started in Bonn in a renewable energy mapping team. So my motivation for an academic career actually started after I started working, which is very strange, because I saw people who are leading the top management of that international organization, who was in the middle management. A lot of people had PhDs, had specialization in particular topics. For example, someone was a specialist in renewable energy integration, had a PhD from top school in particularly that kind of topic. So during my short period of interaction before the lockdown in 2020, so before the lockdown, I interacted with a lot of people, and during my interaction, the more interaction I had with these people, the more motivated I became to do a specialization on a particular topic of energy. Because after masters, you have a good understanding of what is going on, but you are not a specialist in a particular topic. So it's like you are a jack of everything, but you're a king of none. So my motivation actually started by seeing other people in my workplace who are experts in particular topics, who are leading teams focusing on that topic. So that was my motivation. I've seen, okay, in renewable energy, in the energy field, you have to be specialist on particular topics to move your career further in that direction and to go in mid-management or senior management position and to lead teams. You need to be a specialist yourself in that topic. So during that time, I started actively looking for academia positions in PhDs. So like that can enhance one or the other interesting topics or topics that I had huge interest in. So it's like as looking to looking forward to opportunities that would make me a specialist in one topic or the other.
Excellent. So equating really more specialization in your field with more success in that, and more possibility. Makes sense. So once you decided that, okay, a PhD is right for me, what criteria did you have in mind, and what tools helped you most in your PhD search?
So this is very interesting for all the participants who are here right now. A lot of the people and a lot of the times when we are searching for programs, we use Google. We basically use Google for everything in our daily life. But when you want to do a PhD, when you want to get into academia, especially in Europe, there is a special website, there's a special tool, a platform that can help you unlike anything else. So the question comes from, are you interested? So if I'm asking you, Anna, are you interested to do a PhD? If the answer is yes, if it is yes, then the next question would be, where are you going to search all these PhD programs? Do you know a place where to search? For me, I knew about it. It's a website, official website developed by the European Commission. The website is called Your Access. So Your Access, it's a European Commission's project. All kinds of academic position, for example, bachelor thesis, master thesis, then comes PhDs, of course, where I found multiple PhDs, postdoc, associate professorship, assistant professorships, all kinds of academic positions you can find on Your Access. So yeah, that was a very wonderful tool for me that helped me, because I was not looking for PhDs in Europe in the field of energy. That is not a very strong keyword to search in Google. Probably you will not get a lot of successful searches. So go on this website, go on search jobs. You use keywords. For example, I was using keywords like energy engineering, energy economics, energy market, energy modeling. These kind of keywords in this specialized website help me to find my desired programs.
Excellent, excellent. And I see one of our participants, Rashid, thank you very much for posting the link right in there for all of our participants. That's a wonderful resource, Rajon. Thank you for sharing that, because I know a lot of our participants who are interested in academia, it can be very overwhelming to just rely on Google, which you're right, it gives you kind of what you're looking for, but also a bunch of irrelevant stuff sometimes. So
all academic position, they are on this website. So all the participants and who will be watching this on YouTube later, just go to this website and put your keywords, whatever you're looking for. I'm sure you will find something, because in Europe, it's always the recruitments are on a circular basis throughout the year. So they are always recruiting. So I'm hopeful that you will find something.
Definitely, definitely. So let's continue on your journey. Now that we have our tools, we can imagine you at your computer on your Access every day, getting in your researching hours. So you finally find the program that you're in now, your PhD program. You do your applications and you're in it, right? So can you please tell us about the focus of your program now? And just a bit about your journey to get to it.
So the particular program I'm involved in right now, even though I am in Luxembourg, the PhD studies has nothing to do with Luxembourg itself. It has to do everything with Germany. My professor is from Germany. My postdoc who is leading my energy team is from Germany. And the project I'm involved in is also a German ministry project. So the project is developed and funded by the German Ministry of Education and Research. I'll not say the German original name of the ministry. So that
We're still working on the A1 certificate for that one.
Yeah. But so basically, the main topic is Copernicus project. Under this Copernicus project, there are 4 branches of research. So mine is one, which deals with German manufacturing industry. So they're focused heavily on wind and solar, but wind and solar as their variable sources of energy, they are dependent on the weather, dependent on whether the electricity supply go up and down, up and down. So it's a challenge for the German manufacturing industry because Germany is a manufacturing economy. The whole economy is based on manufacturing, Mittelstand, so many small industries, also large scale industries. So this particular topic, how to make the German manufacturing industry ready for the energy transition, how to make it energy adaptive to the fluctuating energy supply without compromising on the quality of the output. Yeah. So basically making the German industry ready for the future energy system. That is the overarching topic. And in there, I'm trying to, do something a little bit my side.
No, absolutely. But it's great. It's a good way to frame that because it's also something that's very relevant. We're seeing this with the Paris Accords. We're seeing this with a lot of just climate change in general these past couple of years. This is something that's super relevant. And I know that Germany has always been trying to be at the forefront of that change. So it's appreciated. Your program is appreciated. Your work is appreciated. I'm also wondering too, for our participants who maybe aren't familiar with PhD programs and how it's structured, you have a bit of a status as a half student, half researcher, correct? Half and half. So how is that structured? How does that work?
So to get a PhD degree, you need to be enrolled as a PhD student in the university. That makes me a student of University of Luxembourg, a PhD student. But okay, I'm student in University of Luxembourg. But then what now? I am also a researcher with a work contract under the supervision of my professor to work on this particular topic that I just mentioned of making the German industry suitable for the energy transition. It's called Synergy, the Synergy project. So I'm going to work in this project. I have a working contract. My salary is coming from this work, but the work that I do, it will also be my PhD topic, my PhD thesis. This is what I'm going to submit by the end of 3 years, hopefully, not more. So yeah, I work here and then the same work, I try to publish papers on this work and then submit it as a thesis to the university to get my degree. So this is my status both as a researcher with a work contract plus a student in the university who wants to get the PhD degree done. Got
it. Excellent. So it's a structure that works. It's a little bit of this, but
in Europe, I don't particularly know about North America, but in Europe, you'll find this structure, which is very, very common right now. Because some of my alumni from my master's, ME3, I can immediately talk about one person who was a student of RWTH Aachen,
okay,
the prestigious university in engineering, was doing her research in DLR, which is the German space agency, Deutsche Luft- und Raumfahrt.
Very good. That A1 is coming in handy. Good.
So she was doing her research in DLR, but was a student of RWTH Aachen. All her work was here. Money was coming from this research, which she submitted in RWTH Aachen and then got a degree. So this is how it works. It's quite common. A lot of students that are in my Synergy program, the project, they all have this kind of dual work plus studentship contract. Yeah.
Excellent. So this is going to be my final question between us because we're going to open up the floor to our participants. Anybody who has a question for Rajon, please write it in the chat box. I'll be able to read it out loud. So while we're talking about this final question between us, everyone feel free to write your question in the chat box and we'll address it right afterwards. So my final question for you, Rajon, is how did you approach finding funding for PhDs? How does that structure work, especially for people who aren't familiar with it?
Correct. Funding, a source of sustenance for your PhD is very important, a top priority for a lot of people looking for PhDs. For me, my particular target while I was looking for my PhD was it had to be a project-based PhD, meaning I did not want myself after 3 years getting stuck in theoretical research only. I wanted to do something that is applied, which is real life and is directly impacting the state of the art in that field. So for me, I was looking for projects, basically project-based PhDs. So basically top researcher, professors, they want to do something that has a real life impact. They get funding for it already. And to work on that topic, to successfully complete that project, they're hiring people as doctoral researcher. So you work on this topic, and then you also, this is the working side, and then you also are a student in a university. So for me, I wanted to do a project-based PhD. So I was looking if it was part of a project or not, or what is the main project, what is the main aim of the professor, and then the funding would of course come from there. So a lot of people, I would say, I mean, some might want to go to theoretical, so it's completely okay. But from my side, I wanted to go in the project-based direction. So the project was going on, there is funding in the project. So I knew they were looking for researchers in the project to work on that project. So I was looking for funded projects. So if you go to your axis, you will see a lot of funding mechanisms. Sometimes they are also funded by European Commission through the Horizon 2020 Marie Curie Fellowship, Marie Curie ITN Fellowship. So which I also got 2 Marie Curie ITN during my application, got 2 offered, but then unfortunately had to let them go to come to my current place. So for funding, I think your access is good platform to look for funding. If you write whatever programs you find, you will find a list, and if you click, you will see how the whole structure is, and are they going to pay for this research? If they are going to pay, the amount will be written. A lot of details will be given there, because this is a European Commission website. So the people who post these PhDs, they have to follow through on some criteria.
Definitely.
So all these informations are available. So people who are thinking about funding, I would say go to your access, find the program, and you will find all the funding details as well as the research topic.
Excellent advice. Excellent. Also description of the website and how it can be used. So everyone listening, definitely keep an eye out or an ear out for that, because this is definitely a major resource that could help a lot. So we have our first question from Sadiq. Thank you, Sadiq, for asking, what is the impact of having a publication in your application? In simple terms, how many publications do you have, or did you have, prior to applying for your PhD?
In my master's, interestingly, I did not publish anything, but I had some conference papers from my bachelor. So that was the last time I published something.
Mm-hmm.
So in as my project, which might not be similar for other people, as my project was related to applied research, so some of the criteria was, am I able to do certain things or not? So during my pre-selection and my interview, I was not asked about papers, but rather how will I solve this problem. They wanted to, the team here was trying to figure out whether I'm suitable for their team. Can I do research collaboratively with other people?
Right.
So for me, publication was not a major factor.
Mm-hmm.
But for some positions, it might be very beneficial, or might be in one of the requirements that you have some, I don't know, conference papers. If it's a nice journal, it will be great.
Right.
But it depends. It varies from position to position. So if you have, it's great. But if you don't have, like me, I mean, it depends on where you are applying. They might not ask for one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a case to case basis, I think. But if you have it, good. If you can publish something, I would also say, if you are doing your master thesis, try to publish it. I mean, there is no harm in publishing it. So
Definitely.
even if you go to industry, you have a publication. If you go to academia, it's definitely helpful.
Right. So it's not sounding like it's something that could benefit your application, definitely, but it's not something to, kill yourself over if you don't really have it in terms of work or trying to get something published before you apply to a PhD program, because there are other skills that you can highlight and show the evaluators, hey, I may not have a ton of publications, but I do have these skills, these talents, this experience. Great. So our next question, it's asking about if there are stipends for EM/JMD Masters in Euraxis. I'm going to respond to this one, Rajon, just to say to Meher, I think everything is on a case-by-case basis. So there's not going to be really a one-size-fits-all for how much money you get or anything like that. Is this correct, Rajon?
PhD, right? Like it changes.
Actually, this question was more asking about the EM/JMD Masters. Euraxis only deals with PhDs, correct?
Euraxis only for PhDs. To get the EM/JMD, there is a particular catalog. There is a website. If you are looking for EM/JMD, just write EM/JMD catalog 2021 or 2022, 2020, doesn't matter.
Whatever you were in. Yeah.
Yeah. The website will come, you click there, you will see, I think currently there is 140 master's program in one list. So you will see the complete list on their website. It's not a problem. Yes. But the scholarship is same for everyone. The monthly scholarship for the masters is same for everyone. And depending on your source of country or your home country, where you are coming from, depending on the distance, there is also travel allowance, which varies. The travel allowance, it varies. So I don't know if you're coming from North Africa, which is very close to Europe, your travel allowance, of course, would be slightly less than compared to someone who is coming from, I don't know, New Zealand or Australia. It's far.
Right.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Makes sense. The distance is a bit more in those other
The scholarship is the same for everyone. And the installation cost €1,000 everybody gets on the first month, same for everyone. Only difference happens in travel allowances.
Got it. Okay, great. And actually, there have been a couple of questions echoing the same thing here. Basically asking to clarify if you can do a PhD without first doing a master's.
In Europe, the answer is unfortunately mostly no. In Europe, if you go to Euraxis, if you go to PhD calls, vacancy announcement, you will see they want a master's. They are looking for someone in majority of the cases who have already finished their master's or almost in the verge of finishing their master's.
Right.
So if you don't have a master's or you are not, say, in the last semester of your master's, you will not find a PhD in Europe in majority of the cases. I think, but it's opposite in North America, and for example, US, in New York, where you are, I think people can apply for PhDs right after bachelor, but that PhD has a different structure. They are 5-year PhD. The first year or two, they go for master level theoretical courses. So it's a PhD where master's is included.
Yes.
In Europe, master's is not included in the PhD. You have to have your master's degree separately. And then PhD is just only PhD. There will be very less theoretical or course work. So yeah, that if you don't have master's, it can be a problem.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, great. We have so many questions. It's very exciting. Thank you all for participating. Our next question comes from Matthias. who asks, what advice do you have for someone who is going to start an Erasmus Mundus program this year and wants to follow a PhD afterwards? Specifically, what can be done during the master's to enhance the possibilities to get a PhD afterward?
Well, it's difficult for me to answer because I never wanted to do a PhD in the first place when I was in my first, second, or third semester at least. What I would suggest someone who is starting their EMGMD is focus on your studies right now. I mean, this is the best thing. You should not think too much ahead. Should focus on now, in the present. Yeah. Learn as much as you can, experience the Erasmus Mundus experience, the journey. Yeah. You will be moving from one country to another, making new friends, trying out new cuisines, and then just enjoy your current Erasmus. Do the best that you can do right now. Maybe on your third semester, on your fourth semester, when you are little bit aware of your strengths and your likings, maybe you can start looking for a PhD on those kind of topics. But before finishing your EMGMD, it will be difficult for you to, I don't know, make a short list. Okay, I'm going to do my PhD in this topic, because you are not sure if this topic is suitable for you or not. You know, you have to go through this journey, Anna. I mean, once you go through the Erasmus Mundus Masters, you do your internship somewhere in industry, you meet a lot of people, you talk to your alumni. Yeah. That opens up your outlook for your career. So people who have not started their EMGMD thinking about PhD, I think it's thinking too far ahead. Should just focus on the EMGMD right now. And then let it be more organic and dynamic. So don't try to put it in a box and put it in a structure. Definitely. Focus. One advice, like focus on your Erasmus right now. Try to enjoy.
I agree. And I'll be honest, for those who may not know which program I went to Euroculture, which is another Erasmus Mundus program. And I completely agree that we have to stay more present in the moment because it really moves so quickly. For those who are interested in doing Erasmus Mundus or are doing Erasmus Mundus now or have done one, Rajon, you know this, it is a lot of movement. And if you don't take time to really experience it, it'll be gone before you know it, and you won't really get that insight that comes from being fully in the moment. So I completely agree with you. I think that's really good advice. We're usually so quick to succeed and get to where we want to that we forget that sometimes where you are is where you need to be, and you can just enjoy that too. Definitely. So I'm looking at the last questions here. We're kind of running up a little over time, but I see one that applies to, is good for the whole group. I see these other questions, thank you all, but some of these are more targeted towards specific answers or criteria. So I'm going to go for the more general one. And this one says, what is your general opinion on the ranking of universities when choosing a PhD? How did university ranking play into that for you?
People who are looking for PhDs, they immediately start with ranking. For me, I had a different perspective. All of them might not agree with me. For me, the project itself, the research itself, the professor who is going to be my future supervisor, they are more important and plays a more vital role in my career than university ranking. I mean, to be honest, you can go to a top ranked school which has a good ranking, but if you are not happy with the research team, you are not happy with the professor. I'm not saying professor is good or bad. I'm just saying maybe you and the professor, you don't gel together. Maybe you have different expectation. So instead of focusing on ranking, I would rather focus on the project and who is going to be my future supervisor, what is his background, who has he supervised before me. I'll rather talk to them and say, hey, I'm trying to apply here. under this professor. I see you have done your PhDs or you are doing your PhD. Can you tell a bit about the professor, the work environment, the research group? So for me, I would not put a lot of focus on ranking for PhDs, because the sole reason, once you are done with your PhDs, people are not going to ask you, okay, Anna, you have done a PhD, from which school? What was the ranking? Rather, the question will be, you have done a PhD. What is your research topic? What did you do in your PhD? What was the outcome? What did you learn? What can you tell me? So ranking does not matter. What matters is the work that you will do as a PhD. The number of publication you are going to make, the quality of those publications is important.
Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. And it seems like it's more focused on practical outcomes as opposed to, oh, I was from number 3, whatever. This is globally ranked in this field. I think that's really good advice. And there's actually one more question I'd like to get to, just because it does mix well with our master's and PhD discourse that we have going here. This question is, how much did your master's thesis from your Erasmus Mundus program impact your PhD application?
Well, a lot of things had impact on my PhD application, plus my interview and selection process. Of course, my thesis was particularly one aspect, and now I'm quite friendly with my professor and postdoc, so I know how they selected me. So I know they read my thesis paper.
Got the inside view there.
So I have the inside view, the other view. Thesis is important, but it's not the most important thing, at least not for me, because my journey was thesis, then I started working a little bit, and then I applied to the PhD. So my immediate work experience was not my thesis, but rather the work that I was doing after the MGMD. Thesis was, of course, important, but the person that asked this question and also were listening, during my selection process for the PhD, I was given a paper and I was asked to give my feedback on the paper, how to improve that paper. Basically, it was on a particular topic. And for majority of the people who are studying energy might not understand what is going on in the paper, if not for our training that I had taken on energy efficiency. So my postdoc wrote that paper, my current postdoc, he wrote that paper based on something on energy efficiency, but then used that idea for energy system demand side flexibility. Mm-hmm. So if I did not do a training during my MGMD, I would not be able to understand the paper, let alone give feedback on it and how to improve it. Right. So for me, the experience of a particular training from International Energy Agency in Paris, that was more impactful than my thesis, because they read my thesis. Okay, it's nice. But I was given a task, and I could only do the task because I had knowledge of that topic or similar topic from a training I had. So my advice, whatever you are learning, try to learn it nicely. That's what I said, like be in the present, be in the moment, do your masters, try to learn as many things as possible, because whatever you are learning now, you might not understand at this moment, but at a later time in your life, that learning might come in handy. Yeah. For me, it was the case. So thesis, it's not so impactful for me, but rather something that I knew from my Erasmus experience that helped me to get the PhD alongside many other things.
So this topic is really resonating a lot with our participants here, and we're seeing this in the questions. It kind of relates to what we were just talking about with that question. We have another participant that asked, when should you start to apply for a PhD or a job if you're doing an Erasmus Master's? If you would like to start right after you graduate your Master's. So this question of timing is very much on people's minds. So we've already kind of discussed it's very important to be patient and to be immersed in what you're learning because it may come in handy later. But if you were to give practical advice to our participants here today about when they should start thinking about applying for their PhD, what would you say?
You can start on your final semester as well, I think. Because a lot of the PhD programs, if you finish or if you're going to finish soon, I think you can apply. Of course, you cannot apply when you're in the first year. But if you're in the final semester, you are going to graduate soon. I mean, soon means like, say, 2-3 months.
Right.
I think you can apply. You can say, okay, I have already finished 3 semesters. This is my final semester.
Yes.
I will be graduating in the next 2, 3, 4 months. And it seems that the PhD is not going to start until the next sixth month from now. So I'm, of course, going to graduate here. And now I'm here. So before PhD, I'll definitely have a master degree. So in this situation, you can, of course, apply. It's not a problem.
Definitely, definitely. And I know just in general, it's good to kind of have that idea in your head before you start that last semester too. Like right around that last semester is a good time to say, okay, this is what I'm thinking, because it is a lot to do a thesis and to apply for a PhD at the same time. So I agree with you in that you might want to stagger that a bit so you're not pulling your hair out all of the last semester. Okay, so we have another question here. What kind of questions did you get in your PhD interview sessions? And maybe there's a way to make this more applicable in a broad sense. You know, what do they tend to ask you about? Is it more about your experience? Is it more about your ambitions? What were your questions like?
Oh, for marathon experience, I had a continuous 2-hour interview. First hour with my professor, 2 professor, and the next hour with my current postdoc and another, I think, 3rd-year PhD. So both the interview sessions simultaneously, 1 hour, 1 hour, they had different purpose. For the latter part, it was more, okay, am I suitable as a team player? Can they work with me and can I work with them? So who am I? Do I have experience of working in a multicultural, multinational environment? Yes, I had. EMGMD.
Yes.
Can I cope in international environment in high pressure situation? Yes, I can. Again, EMGMD.
Every semester, yes.
Every semester, you basically, But now shifting to the first session, it was more technical. I was asked about different topics that were relevant to, that would be relevant if I were to be selected, would be relevant for my PhD. So how would I like to answer this question very in a generic way for everyone who's participating? It's, let's break down the interview session in 2. One would be theoretical, related or related, subject related. Theoretical, subject related. You are trying to do a PhD in this field. Do you know about this field? Basically, testing your knowledge. The professor will be asking you questions to see if you know about this topic or not. Whether you are suitable. Do you have the not technical, because some people here could be from social science or business. Technical, I don't mean like technical, but subject oriented. Do you have subject related knowledge? Can you contribute here? Do you understand this? Do you have background in this? Do you have knowledge on this? So this is one. And the second topic would be more of your personality, your interpersonal skill, how good you are in presentation, how well you can gel in a team, work in a team, lead in a team, be led in a team. So more on a personal side, and another side would be more on the theoretical side.
Makes sense.
So it can be both. It can be both. I think a lot of PhDs, they simultaneously try to see, because they just do not want to take someone who is knowledgeable, but also can gel well in their existing team.
Yeah. A more well-rounded candidate, because it's one thing if you can be the most brilliant person in the room, but if you can't express or communicate with others, it doesn't really help anybody. Wonderful. So thank you so much. I felt that this is a fantastic session. And now that you break down your interview process for your PhD, I understand. I know why you're so good at the interviews, because you've already been in a high pressure situation like this. So this is nothing comparatively speaking. Rajon, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us today. I want to thank our participants for all these wonderful questions and all this interest. Our registration lists were off the charts. Moving forward, if anyone is interested in reaching out to Rajon, he is actually an EMA country representative for Bangladesh. And we are always excited here at EMA to just engage with our public, with our audience, with our network. So feel free to reach out to him. We will be posting this recording and related snippets in the coming weeks. So make sure you stay tuned for that on our social network. And Rajon, would you like to say anything to the folks before we go?
I want to thank the whole Genie team for organizing this. Because I'm talking, but the platform was created by you people, and a lot of people I see are hopefully going to get benefited from this. And my last thing that I would like to mention, because of the pandemic, a lot of the industry are in a precarious situation, might not have the kind of funding or business they had before in 2019. So currently, academia for you as a career choice is a good option. If you are finding it difficult to get in the industry because of the pandemic, because of the economic downturn, you can of course go for academia, because I think the funding has not reduced in academia, it is the same. Plus in Europe, as the session was about PhD in Europe, European Commission is putting a lot of money in research and innovation, huge amount of money. And those amount will be given to different projects, science, social science, business, whatever. So they are going to get distributed. So just try to find your project, your PhD project that has received some kind of funding, and then maybe you can start the next phase of your career. So all the best to all the participants. Thank you for attending.
Wonderful. And thank you again for that context, Rajon. Actually, given the interest that we've had in this episode with you, we're hoping to have you on again for another EMA initiative that's actually been inspired by this talk, which is a series that's based on PhD studies, just looking at all the different questions and topics that have to do with choosing a PhD, doing a PhD, and what comes afterwards. So we will keep an eye out for that, and we'll let you know as that develops. And Rajon, we might be seeing you again on our split screen here for that series, hopefully in the future. Wonderful. All right, Rajon. Well, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. To all of our participants, thank you for being a part of this, and you have a wonderful weekend too. And we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.